Wanted to dive into following up on a story that we covered a while ago, which was AB InBev's proposed acquisition of SAB Miller.
Yeah, huge deal, over $100 billion, right?
And you sent this to me this morning. Very interesting article in the Wall Street Journal. They accepted a bid, I guess, of $2.9 billion in cash from Japan's Asahi Group for SAB Miller's premium beer brands, which are, and these are the European brands, Peroni Grolsch. I am totally butchering that. If anybody wants to correct me, it's Grolsch. I mean, I took French in high school, but anyway. And British beer Meantime. One, that's a nice chunk of change. Two, this is just, and what I wanted to highlight was that this is just one of many divestitures that these companies are doing in order to get this deal done.
Yeah, so we had discussed, when the deal was first announced, we were breaking that down. We always caveat some of these bigger M&A, these deals that they sign, that there is going to be some stipulations, and there's going to be some things that they need to do in order to help increase their odds of regulatory approval. And in this case, obviously, some of those divestitures, this being one of them, I think they received the offer from Asahi probably February or March.
Yeah.
And now it's been finalized. So you mentioned, Japan's eager to expand and get their hands on.
This is their first big acquisition outside of Japan
in some time. Yeah, I think they had previously a pretty big deal, around $13 or $14 billion for like.
Oh, that's right. They bought Jim Beam.
Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, of course. So. As you mentioned, this is one of many. What were some of the other divestitures?
The first thing to go was, of course, this was like a given. This was totally going to happen. Was SAB's SAB Miller's? I think it was 48 or 52%. I do think it was 48%. SAB Miller's 48% interest in Miller Coors LLC, which was their joint distribution venture with Molson Coors Brewing. Ironically enough, they created that joint venture in order to compete more effectively with Budweiser's distribution. Irony is the spice of life, I guess. But that definitely happened already. In March, the company agreed to sell SAB Miller's Chinese beer business to China Resources Beer Holdings. Boy, they really got creative with that name. But that was done in order to gain antitrust approval from the government of the People's Republic of China. It's even after all these divestitures, and all of these definitely need to happen in order to close the deal. The combined entity is going to have 30% global market share of the beer industry on this planet. They're going to have 90% market share, and I saw this list. I mean, there are 190 whatever countries on this planet. They're going to have 90% market share in like a couple of dozen Latin American and African countries. So. Wow. These definitely need to happen in order to, and that's really the why they're doing it. They want to match up the South American and the African beer distribution of markets, because those are this century going to see a lot of the growth and GDP growth and everything. This is definitely a long game. So
it's interesting too how just some of these that we talk about the deal itself, over $100 billion. Some of these divestitures themselves are not. They're not small by any stretch.
This is a $3 billion deal right here.
We
it's
have
just
this
a line item.
Asahi deal, $3 billion, not small by any stretch. And also the Miller Coors, the joint venture you mentioned, that was sold to Molson Coors for $12 billion. And I did not know this until, we started doing some of the research originally when we were learning about CR Snow. That's the number one selling beer by volume in the world. Obviously driven by a lot, if it's popularity in the Chinese market, huge market, right?
Right.
But, that deal was, considering how powerful that is, number one selling beer brand by volume, that deal was only $1.6 billion. So that was generally seen as a very good deal for China Resources. But, again, obviously.
We should go get some snow.
I've never tried it. I would
think
like
we need
to.
Yeah. Anyway.
So hopefully we can try and find it at a store around here.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, bottom line, this is happening, and I do think the deal will eventually go through it. I kind of like it, because they're positioning themselves for another century of growth in all these high growth markets and everything. So